Francis Ngannou is officially out of the UFC, and now he has his sights set on the biggest fight in boxing. Francis Ngannou is keeping his fingers crossed that he can make a deal with Tyson Fury. The former UFC heavyweight champion reportedly had some discussions with Fury's camp about the possibility of taking each other on in mid-2023. Apparently, Fury laid out some crazy stipulations, including a cage, 4-ounce gloves, and Mike Tyson acting as the special referee. The two have been going back and forth on social media for more than 2 years now, so it's about time something concrete was done about it. Ngannou told TMZ Sports that he's hoping to get an agreement in place before Usyk's fight, so that it gives him enough time to prepare himself for a boxing match. So far, no conclusion has been made, but it's something that both parties are looking into. Unfortunately, the fight seems unlikely this year, as Fury is set to defend the undisputed titles and then fight mandatory challenges. But from the way things seem, both parties desperately want the fight. Tyson Fury hasn't exactly been silent about the negotiations either. We all thought the biggest fight in heavyweight boxing was going to be Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, but if that deal doesn't come through, then there is a chance we could see the Gypsy King face off against the former UFC heavyweight champion instead.
Shot with the right hand! Does Blade's recovery still wobbly on his feet? Goddard's taking a closer look. Ngannou's powering in. Oh, this is bad news!
That's it! Francis Ngannou!
Tyson recently opened up to Sky Sports about the possibility of a fight against Ngannou, suggesting they make it spicy with a special rules match. That about confirms the whole cage match claim by Ngannou's camp. This would be an epic matchup between two powerhouses of combat sports, so here's hoping that the Usyk deal gets done soon. Frank Warren, Tyson Fury's promoter, recently told Seconds Out that both fighters wanted the Usyk fight, but he admitted an open mind about the Ngannou option if negotiations fall through. We haven't seen Ngannou in a boxing ring yet, but it could be a fight that Warren believes his man can win. It may not be the most competitive fight, but it's definitely big enough to have all of my attention if a deal can't be struck between Usyk and Fury. Ngannou versus Fury in a cage with 4-ounce gloves could be an epic matchup that I definitely don't want to miss. But not everyone is happy about this potential matchup. When Tyson Fury called out Francis Ngannou for a fight, it was met with mixed reactions from the fighting community. Some were excited by the prospect of seeing two heavyweight greats battle it out in a cage with 4-ounce gloves and special guest referee Mike Tyson. Others found the idea to be downright ridiculous. Chael Sonnen was one of them. He didn't want to call it disappointing, but the idea of someone with Tyson's fighting capabilities asking for a fight in such an unusual way left him speechless. Tyson's tone during his call-out made it worse in Sonnen's opinion. He couldn't believe that somebody who should already have the connections to make such a fight happen was begging for it on the internet. And his stipulations of having Tyson as a referee and making it in a cage with 4-ounce gloves, that just made it seem even more ridiculous. Sonnen did recognize that Fury's intentions were to entertain fans, but he still found the whole thing weird. He likened it to sending a text message with an LOL at the end just in case you don't get the response you were hoping for. It's a way of saving face and not having to actually put your name on it. But others in the industry were a lot happier about the whole feud. When Tyson Fury challenged Francis Ngannou to a fight, Oscar De La Hoya was absolutely pumped. He believes it would be an amazing experience for fans of both sports, creating a mega event that rivals the kind of hype Mike Tyson had in his prime. In his opinion, though, there would be a huge advantage for Fury in a boxing matchup. After all, he's been boxing since he was a kid.
Even than we hoped. Better. Wow. Sensational. A minute 10 into round number 11.
Who would know it would go like this?
And Ngannou is more accustomed to the cage. But if they fought in an octagon, then it would be a totally different story. Ngannou would likely have the upper hand with his superior kicking and striking skills.
Maynard's phone to try to get a matchup with Ngannou. Down goes the Reem. Francis Ngannou has arrived.
De La Hoya said he would love to see the two of them in action, pitting Fury's boxing experience
Continues to whip those punches in, and Victor Lachlan says that's enough. It's not before time. Derek Chisora is beaten by Tyson Fury.
Against Ngannou's MMA prowess. It would be amazing for both sports.
And leave these big openings.
Knocked down for Ngannou. Stipe back to his feet, eats another uppercut. Nice counter right from the inside. Who's knocked down and out? Francis Ngannou.
and he believes it would be a huge draw that fans wouldn't want to miss out on. Overall, it seems like a lot more people are excited for this fight than the other way around. Eddie Hearn has other ideas though. He's already discussed the possibility of Ngannou taking on Anthony Joshua before Tyson Fury, but now with Ngannou out of the UFC, he wants it to happen ASAP. What's more is that Hearn wants it to happen even before Ngannou takes on Tyson Fury. The truth is that no one really knows what would happen in such an epic clash. Would Ngannou's famous punching power prove too much for
He's fighting at range. Arlovski fires, just misses. Ngannou comes over the top of the left and boom, beautiful follow-up to his counter with that right hand.
Or would the boxing champion's technical style reign supreme? Either way, it's obvious that Ngannou has come a long way, and Hearn is determined to make sure he gets the most out of his career. With 2 or 3 fights under his belt, Francis could be ready for superstardom, and Eddie Hearn wants to make sure he gets the most out of it. So who knows? We could be seeing this fight for real sooner than you think. It could be the biggest upset of all time, or an exciting display of skill from Anthony Joshua. Either way, this would be one fight you don't want to miss. Hearn also reveals that Ngannou is the option B for AJ if he doesn't get a title match. Considering how AJ's quest for another title has gone so far, I think the fight is gonna happen sooner rather than later. No offense, AJ, it just seems like Ngannou has been fully embraced by the boxing world, and that's good to see. But if only things were the same when he was in the UFC, he's the man of the moment, and it's easy to see why.
Undisputed UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Francis.
After departing from UFC in January, the Predator could be poised for a long and successful career outside of the cage. However, former UFC title challenger Dan Hardy isn't too happy with how things unfolded. He believes that if more influential UFC fighters had stood with Ngannou during his negotiations, a better precedent could have been set for fighter care. Unfortunately, it seems that the majority of big names in the promotion were happy to take pictures with Francis, but were not willing to back him up when he asked for concessions from the UFC. This means that despite the Predator's determination to make a stand, his efforts were in vain.
They should at least have a certain amount of sponsor that every fighter can put on his gear, because yet this is fighter's source of revenue.
Hardy says this is a movie moment that could have changed the face of MMA if some fighters had been brave enough to stand with Ngannou. He believes it's time for champions and stars of the UFC to start campaigning for better fighter pay and care across the board, or else nothing will change. In a way, he's absolutely right. It's a shame that many of the top UFC fighters were not willing to take a stand. They're so scared of losing their own position that they don't want to help the up-and-coming fighters. But I bet Ngannou isn't that unhappy with how things are turning out. With multi-million-dollar offers every single day, he'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Do you think Ngannou made the right decision? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.